Look, bro, I'm not even gonna bother teaching mnemonic induced lucid dreaming because it's like it to me it just feels like the most inferior, most basic method of lucid dreaming. Not to shit on you if you're you're doing this method and you're getting successful with it. I just think that most people will just find that method kind of just like the most simple, boring method that doesn't actually really work that well. Um, but I will teach these two methods, and they're kind of like similar, but it's just slightly different. And I've done them before, and like for uh, I mean, I'll explain them. They're DEILD, and then you also have dream exit in initiated lucid dreaming, and then you also have SSILD, which is the senses initiated lucid dreaming. Um, but let me just explain both of them, uh, how to do it, and why, in my opinion, it didn't really work that well. But you may try it and you may be like, "Oh, this is crazy." And so I just find this personally weird because I'm more like a physical person. Like I'm very more like movement orientated. I learn physically faster than most people. Um, and when it comes to like doing shit in like the brain and stuff like that, even though I do meditate and I do all this type of crazy like esoteric shit, um not esoteric, but you know what I mean. It just like it doesn't work for me for some reason. I think I think it's because I'm so tired when I'm doing these methods that like my brain also just takes like a hit, and I can't really like think straight. But let me just tell you the methods. So DEILD is again dream initiated lucid dreaming. And let me just preface this. You also want to do these methods with the wake back to bed just to get higher chances. I don't think there's any reason not to do a wake back to bed unless the method specifically says you don't need to, or it's like it's not worth doing a wake back to bed. But anyway, both of these can be beneficial if you do a wake back to bed. Um, but anyway, it's a technique that's pretty quick, and it basically makes you enter a dream without really like needing to try. But it takes a lot of like more brain power. And again, in my experience, I think maybe I was just thinking too hard, but it didn't really work for me because it's like you have to really think about what your brain's doing. And when I'm so tired, I'm like, "Ugh, I can't be asked trying that hard." But basically, the DEILD method is basically you wake up in the wake back to bed, and it's kind of hard to do this without actually physically moving again, because yeah, this is the next part is like you don't want to move at all when you're woken up halfway in your wake back to bed. But yeah, you just you shouldn't move. You want to move as minimally as possible. And again, like whenever do the wake back to bed, I'm kind of like half conscious, so it's kind of like hard for me to just like remember. Oh yeah, I have to like stay still. But anyway, it's you want to visualize your dream, because you definitely will have like some sort of like vague dream, and you want to like kind of like sit there, not sit there, but you lay there in your bed and like visualize the dream, and then engage your senses. Really focus on what your dream was looking like, what it was feeling like, the atmosphere, the your like your footing, um, all this type of thing. And then basically when you do this, you'll basically like some people say that like it's kind of like just going into your mind, like you're basically falling back into your brain. Um, I think I've actually done this once, and it just went back into like a normal dream. It wasn't even lucid, and so I was kind of like, oh, this is kind of like bullshit. uh, and so yeah, that's the method. That's really it. It's basically you don't do anything when you're woken up and you wake back to bed. You visualize your dream and you go back into your dream. It's kind of like hard to be like, oh yeah, bro, just go back into your dream. And so if you're not like if you try this and it's not like working consistently, maybe like try this like a week or two. Um, and I don't know, maybe I should get given it more time to like really like catch up, because like I actually did go into like a normal dream once, and it was like, oh, kind of cool and all that. But then the dream kind of like spiraled, and I wasn't like even conscious of the dream anyway, so it's like, what's the fucking point? But anyway, let's now go to SSILD, which is senses um, initiated lucid dreaming. And what is that? It's basically the same thing, but instead of um you wake up again, but instead of this is why I've learned, instead of you know focusing on just like staying asleep, staying still, you kind of want to like cycle through all your senses, and then you keep on doing this, so you're like your brain kind of falls asleep but your body is conscious. It's kind of like, it's a very weird experience, but basically you want to like close your eyes when you're in bed, after you'll wake back to bed. You can also do this when you're going to sleep, but again, it's not really worth doing when you're getting all that deep sleep. But anyway, you want to fall asleep, you want to like stay there after the wake back to bed, and you want to like focus on your vision. What do you see? You want to focus on your head to toe, your body. What do you feel? What's the temperature like? What's like the weird like intricacies, like the fucking gaps in between your toes, your breathing. Um, like my ears kind of like red right now. They kind of feel hot. Feel that. Feel basically like you and then automatically your vision will, like what you're visualizing, will kind of like die down again. And so then it's like you want to actually lock back into that. And then again, that's why it's more like a cycle. It's really hard to focus on your entire body at once. But anyway, you do this, and it's it again, to me, it was kind of like hard to do because I remember just doing this a lot, and I kind of just like went back to bed, and then nothing really happened. If anything, I actually didn't get even normal dreams. So I kind of like do a senses initiated thing, just like a senses initiated thing, but like kind of like as like a meditation practice. I remember like Dr. Andrew Huberman was like talking about this type of method to like be very like mindful of like the body and all that. And I do that when I'm like actually like awake meditating or something like that. And so just for like the just for like just for like getting a lucid dream, I didn't get any success with this. And so yeah, this is why I want to make a video talking about both, is because they're very similar, and I can kind of like clump these in together. And yeah, I mean, it, when it comes to like both methods, you don't want to really like try too hard, but at the same time, not trying hard enough is kind of like not a good thing. What I mean by not trying too hard is because if you try too hard at anything when you're just before going to sleep, you're gonna like engage your mind again, and it's kind of harder to fall asleep. But also, if you don't try hard enough, you'll just sleep without really trying. So you really do want that like sweet spot. Um, and yeah, I mean, fuck, track your progress in your dream journal. I don't do that dumb shit. I mean, I still do it. I actually do dream journal, but like just not a lot. Um, and yeah, uh, leave a comment talking about your, if you got in like success with like the D fuck the fucking D method or the S method. Um, and you know we can talk about that in the comments down below, or yeah, and then subscribe if you want to know more lucid dreaming techniques and methods. Um, maybe like some obscure lucid dreaming methods. But anyway, see you.